a lot. Instagram in 2025 continues to surprise us with new incredible tools and updates. So please, as the title of this video, don't miss your latest Instagram news, rumors, and more here with us today. In this video, we're discussing Instagram new features and even more Instagram creator updates, including answering questions such as what do we think Instagram for creators will look like by the end of 2025? So let's get into it today as we help you step your gram up on the latest episode of the Social Roundtable. Welcome, guys. Happy Monday, and I hope that you are all doing well. We are so glad to have you joining us today, as we are so glad to have a very special guest joining us to discuss this important topic. Because, as the title on the screen says, Instagram is changing again. It's almost pretty much a consecutive thing with Instagram. It's almost like it's changing pretty much every 24/7. And I almost feel like by the end of our conversation, we might have something new to report that Instagram has come out with just today. But we're going to be talking about something that we've noticed in the news lately that may have slipped under the radar by many people, creators and business individuals like yourself, that probably should have a little bit more focus and attention. So we're going to get into that today on our latest episode of the Social Roundtable. I am joined by Megan, my co-host, who's always here with me every week. It seems like her camera just went out. Is it just me? Or is she still
I
on the
don't see
live?
her either.
All right. Well, we'll give her a moment. Listen, guys, we are doing a stream today where everybody's on different sides of the coast. So we might have a couple hiccups. That's quite all right. This is all live, and we know how live tends to be. So please bear with us. We have a very special guest here today. We are joined by Lia Haberman to discuss this very important topic. Welcome, Lia, to the Social Roundtable. How are you doing today?
I am good. And thank you. And I absolutely agree with you that like you could walk away from your desk and the platform changes. It's just you have lunch, you come back, and it's like it's a whole new ball game. So yeah, you really have to work to stay up with all of the changes that are happening.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, because that has actually happened to me during a live when we were talking about Instagram updates. We finished the conversation and I went on my phone, and like 5 minutes later, Maseri once again put out a video and said, "Hey guys, we want to introduce yada yada yada." And I was like, "Oh great, I could have spoke about this 5 minutes ago."
I put out a newsletter every Friday morning, and Maseri does his AMA, but it never comes out till Friday afternoon. So it kills me every time he says something interesting during his AMA, which I would love to include in my newsletter, but it comes out like 6 hours after the newsletter, and it's just, yeah, there's so much stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to have you here join us. As we wait for Megan to jump back into the live stream, I want to give you a moment to introduce yourself, let the people know who you are and where they can find you and all of that other good things.
Yeah, do we want to ad lib, or do you want me to introduce myself now?
Oh, you go ahead and introduce yourself now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I put out a newsletter every Friday morning. It's called ICYMI, or In Case You Missed It. And it's essentially platform updates, content format trends and updates, and audience insights. And it's for creators, but mostly for marketers. I actually launched the newsletter about 4 years ago, strictly for creators. And then more and more marketers started to come. So the audience ratio tipped from primarily creators to about, I would say, probably 60% marketers, 40% creators. And so just over the years, I've kind of shifted the newsletter a little bit, but it's always like, what is the latest on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, a little bit of Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest. And then also just looking at data about what audiences like, because a platform can announce something, Maseri can say something. If nobody uses that feature or nobody uses the whatever they're introducing, it's like it's not a success. Like I think there's a tremendous amount of power to the people in essentially using something or not, which dictates whether or not it's going to be a success. And so I think to me that matters. And I think sometimes that gets lost a little bit in the conversation, like how are audiences responding? How do people feel about this? So that's important.
Yeah, I would love to know a lot of those numbers that you're talking about. Like Maseri introduces some things and we're like, we from the way he speaks about it, it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I mean, like, even with the idea of Reels Remix, like he's been boasting about Reels Remix for months. And I have to be honest, I don't think I've seen a lot of people using it. But that's just might be me and my community. I don't know. Maybe that's something that we talk about during our conversation today.
I mean, he will tell you if something is going well. Trust me, you're going to hear about it because they're going to give you that's always the key, right? So if you want to tell whether or not something's working, is like Instagram or, Messeri or a spokesperson or somebody is going to provide data or numbers. They're also going to roll out different versions. One of the greatest examples to me is notes, birthday notes, in-feed notes, story notes, profile notes. Like, they were very clear that notes over indexes with Gen Z. And so they're telling us Gen Z uses notes at 10 times the rate of other generations. So it's like they're providing data, they're rolling out, I think like at this point, there's something like 12 different notes locations. To me, that's like, okay, that's a success. If he's not providing data or they're not rolling out different versions of whatever it is, it's like, is it doing well? I don't know. I mean, that's not science. Let me just say, that's like, I'm just saying, like, you're reading the tea leaves and trying to understand that is a helpful way to look at it.
Yeah, I agree as well. And I'm so glad we got Megan back on the screen also. What's going on, Megan? How are you doing?
Hello. Hopefully that's the only glitch that happens, okay? First sign on and it happens. I'm okay. Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I could hear you guys there when I was frozen and you guys were actually frozen, so I heard everything, just couldn't see you. So I think that was a really good point that you just made. Like, the more updates that happen and the more iterations of something, the more you hear about it from like the creator's page or Adam himself or Instagram's page, it's a good indication that it's going well and they're happy with the way people are using it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a great way. And I'm glad that you mentioned the creators page and especially Adam Messeri. Once again, Adam Messeri, you might hear his name mentioned a couple of times during our conversation. Adam Messeri is the head of Instagram. I'm sure you may have seen his post, but if not, actually, there might be a reason why you may not be following him. So actually, in the live chat right now, I have a very simple question. Do you follow Adam Messeri? And the reason why I ask is because a lot of the news that comes from Instagram comes directly from him, as well as the creators page that Megan has shared. So I want to know in the live chat right now, if you go ahead and answer the poll question, or if you're watching this on a replay, put it in the comments. Do you follow Adam Messeri, the head of Instagram? We'll love to see what you guys respond with as we jump into our conversation all about Instagram changes. Ladies, are you guys ready to get into this convo?
Yep.
I am ready.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it. Once again, this is the Social Roundtable you're watching with myself, my co-host Megan. Every week, we'd like to jump in and discuss some of the latest topics related to you guys that are watching. And today's topic, once again, is all about Instagram, latest changes, and some of the rumors that we may have heard as well. So I want to lead off with my first question because from milestone acknowledgments to new features and DMs, Instagram has been relentless with the amount of new updates they've been releasing since the top of the year. So many updates that sometimes a few get lost in the shuffle. So, Leah, I'm going to ask you the first question. What are some of the latest Instagram updates, including algorithm changes, content creator news, and possible feature leaks you'd like to share?
Okay, can I start with something a little unorthodox? Just because I'm going to mention TikTok, and I promise I'm going to tie this into Instagram. I don't know if everybody saw that last week TikTok launched something called creator chat rooms. The reason that I mention this and why I think it's so interesting is creator chat room is for TikTok creators who go live. They can have up to 300 subscribers, followers, fans in the chat room with them. It's very similar to a Facebook group. So we know now TikTok has creator chat rooms. We know Facebook has groups. Obviously, there's, Discord servers or whatever. We don't have an equivalent experience on Instagram. There is broadcast channels, and I think I hope we're going to talk about broadcast channels because I got lots of feelings there. But I think Instagram doesn't really have a large scale chat room for creators and their subscribers or followers. And so I think, we see Instagram adopt features that other platforms, whether it's stories, immersive short form video, whatever it is, they often look to the other platforms, they see what's working, and then they implement and see whether or not it's going to work on Instagram. I don't feel like there's really an equivalent to that creator chat room necessarily for Instagram. And so I would watch out to see how Instagram responds to that. And I would say broadcast channel, very different. That's very much kind of it's a broadcast message. It's one to many versus a chat room, which is everyone's involved in the conversation.
I always like to say broadcast channels is almost like a newsletter. That's how kind of I envision it, because it's really coming from one individual source to many. Now, Instagram has kind of created certain ways for them to reply and respond, but it's still not as true form to the channels as you described with this new one that TikTok has launched. Now, I think that's a great one to start off with, because we do know how TikTok likes to borrow or feel inspired by a lot of the things that Instagram does. I'm just say Instagram feels inspired and likes to borrow from TikTok.
They all do. They all do.
Yeah, that is very true. I'm starting to see a lot bit more now. TikTok is actually doing borrowing from Instagram, such as this brand new feature. Now, I must admit, I am not very active on TikTok, but I want to go to you, Megan, in regards to what Leah just shared about this news. As somebody that does use TikTok, definitely more than me, how do you feel about this brand new feature that TikTok has introduced? And do you feel like it might be something that Instagram might actually need to borrow or feel inspired by to take?
Well, I really like your view on it, Leah, because I had been hearing a lot of people say it is TikTok stealing from Instagram's broadcast channel. And I didn't really see the connection. Like, I see the connection, I see where they're thinking, but you're right that even now that broadcast channels allow people to interact through like the prompts, there's still something about it that just feels more like the creator's space and less of the community space, and more like elite to be seen, almost like less comfortable, I guess, is the way you could say. Like TikTok's vision there, I think, is really building community, which is something that TikTok had been lacking prior. It was harder to get connected. So it's really exciting to see that there. I haven't personally, seen any of them or been a part of any or done any myself, but I am excited to see what that brings to the platform, and how Instagram is going to be able to study it and kind of bring that community aspect into broadcast channels for sure. And curious from everybody in the audience, thumbs up or thumbs down, have you seen this update on TikTok or used it, been a part of it anywhere? Let us know.
I mean, it just launched 2 days ago, so I think it's really new. I don't even know which creators are using it yet, so it'll be interesting to see what your audience responds. But like exactly what you said, like TikTok has a problem with subscriber loyalty or follower loyalty and community. They need to solve for that. Communities are much more engaged on Instagram, which is why I think it's interesting that Instagram hasn't created that space yet for creators in their communities, because followers are much more engaged on Instagram. Like the data says that like it's better to have the followers on Instagram than to have them on TikTok. It's much more temporary. So I think good for TikTok for trying to solve that problem to increase, community engagement and that sense of kind of loyalty and connection between a creator and their audience. But yeah, I'm so curious to see how Instagram responds to this.
Definitely.
Well, time will tell, right? Because it could be only a matter of days. It could be by the time we get off of this this live that they might have a solution or a response to what TikTok has just announced. So we'll see. But I think that's a great one for us to jump in with. Megan, I want to go to you to introduce your first one in regards to this question. For those that may have just jumped in, we are talking about some of the latest changes going on to Instagram. And yes, we were talking about TikTok, but with TikTok, some of those things do relate because they do like to feel borrowed and inspired from some of these other platforms. So once again, the question is, what are the latest Instagram changes, news, and updates that you guys should know about? Megan, what is yours that you want to share?
Well, hopefully I'm not stealing one of yours, Heston, because I know we've kind of talked about this. But some of the new updates when it comes to insights, specifically on the Instagram app, not in edits, because I know edits does have an extensive amount of insights compared to Instagram. But just recently, I saw on my insights for my business page, I can now see on each reel what second people liked the reel. So that retention rate, and then also when people actually felt something to engage with it. And then I know that they also have this rolling out and testing for carousels where you can see which slide of the carousel people like it. I mean, I'm not going to say this, like, I'm a little greedy and I want to know when people save it. I want to know when people share it. But this is a start. This is really, really good. It's going to be a great way for us to be able to go into our insights, see what's working, what's not. You know, when did people actually feel that connection to your content? And then that not only is going to tell you do more of that, but it also could help you with understanding different things you can repurpose to save you time. Like maybe it's one carousel slide that you saw a huge uptake. Maybe that turns into a piece of content on its own, repurposed, obviously appropriate to the style or whatever, but you're able to really harness that powerful piece of content and make the most out of your hard work. So I'm excited to see where we can really get the most from these insights and how we can put that into action to hit our goals even faster and help each other do that.
Did you say that you have that feature yet, or you're
I
waiting for
have
it
it
still?
for the reels, but I don't have it for
For
carousels.
reels.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're the opposite then, because I have it for carousels and not reels.
I don't have it for either. So you guys are both ahead of the
No.
curve. Yeah.
No. Okay. We got to call Masari and get that resolved. So maybe we all could all have both of them.
Yes.
But yeah, that is an interesting feature. I kind of like you, Meg. I agree that some of the other metrics might be a little bit more important. I feel like I would prefer to see views for carousels, particularly. I want to see views where people dropped off on a particular slide, and then like
Oh,
that would
yeah.
give me a better idea of, okay, maybe this slide I put too much information. Maybe I should have changed it up and then try it differently the next time. So hopefully in the future they change that and be able to choose what metrics we could kind of display on that little visual. But I think nonetheless it's a great brand new feature added. How about you, Leah? I mean, no, I know that you said you don't have it, but what are your thoughts in regards to it?
Yeah, no, I had seen this last week, and I think it's amazing. I think I'm trying to remember which account. I know Rachel Carton, who has a newsletter as well, she had shown it. I feel like Instagram or maybe Adam Mosseri had talked about it. So I was aware of it. I just don't have it myself. I think it's amazing. I think the more insights that you have, the more that you're able to tell specifically why did people like your content? Like what, back to your point, like what moment was it in the reel that they were like, this deserves a like or a share? Which slide in the carousel is the thing that made people like? But I do agree with you, Heston, that for carousels, especially since I love a carousel, and reels get more reach, but carousels get more engagement. I would like to know, to your point, which which carousel slide made them take an action, which carousel slide made them bounce, which
Mhm.
carousel slide surfaced in their feed, because you know that they repurpose
That's a very good
carousels,
point.
or not repurpose, but like they show up in your feed multiple times. So it's like,
Yeah.
which slide was it that showed up that then made them either engage or swipe through your carousel? Because it wasn't necessarily the cover image. So it's like, yeah, I would love like much deeper insights into everything about carousels.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I didn't consider that. That's awesome. So yeah, I think that's a great one, Megan, in regards to um, a brand new feature from Instagram that a lot of people might not be aware of, but they got to dig a little bit deep into their insights. People, please look at your insights. It's there for a reason. You'll learn a lot more about your content and your account if you look in the numbers. Numbers are not that scary. It's not math. Well, not too much math, but you can look at the numbers and figure out how your content is performing and make the best with that. I want to share my own. It's one that I actually, our a friend of ours, Angela, had put me on to IG Live with Angela. She actually shared a photo with me last week. That for those that don't know, IG Live with Angela, she's a live streaming coach, and some of her clients, as well as one of her other accounts, was not able to go on live stream one day on Instagram. She showed me the photo, and there was a prompt that said because she doesn't have more than 1,000 followers, she can no longer go on IG Live. So this is a feature, or I should say, a limitation on a feature on Instagram that has now been set that I think a lot of people should be aware of because it has definitely changed. Even some of the viewers that are watching today, I know a few of you guys, like Greg and some of the others, you guys focus and utilize IG Live a lot, and this change has now affected you. you can't go on live because you have less than 1,000 followers. I think that this means, now I might be going into rumor territory now, Leah and Meg. So bear with me for a moment, but I've been feeling this way for the past few months, and I feel like this is like probably the biggest reason or the biggest piece of evidence towards it. I think Instagram is getting ready to get rid of IG Live. I have this feeling that for the past few months now, Leah, I'm not sure if you're aware, Megan and I started this show on IG Live. We did it on IG Live for 2 years, and at the end of 2025, sorry, 2024, we've noticed a lot of buggy things going on with IG Live, to the point where it made us say we have to leave and go to YouTube, which is where we are now. Thank you guys once again. If you are watching us on YouTube, hit the like button and please subscribe. But we've noticed a lot of weird things going on with IG Live that kind of forced us to leave. And I've noticed even a lot more since after we've left. I've noticed that if we did a collaboration, like if we're doing a collaboration right now, Leah, on your Instagram, it wouldn't say that you're live, even though you are live. They took that feature away. I'm not sure why, but only the host of the live has the little label that says that they're live. So Megan and Leah, you wouldn't be told, your audience wouldn't be notified, and they wouldn't be able to see that you're live on your page, which kind of destroys the whole point of collaborations on live. Like, you do collaborations, a big part of it is to, help grow. You won't be able to actually do that because even during the live, another thing they took away is when you hit that drop down button, and normally a list of all the hosts and the collaborators are there. Now it's only the host. So I can't even go to a live now and follow anybody else that's on it but the host. And now that they limited to only people that has 1,000 followers or more, I have a strong feeling that IG Live is going to go the same way as IGTV. And if you guys don't remember or ever heard of IGTV, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. They got rid of IGTV a few years back, and I thought it was a decent idea, but they weren't able to truly make a lot of money on it. I understand why they got rid of it. I think the same thing is happening for IG Live. Um, but that might just be my little conspiracy theory. I know, Leah, this might be the first time you've heard this idea or rumor. I want to hear your response to it. Am I crazy?
Okay, I have so many things to say. First of all, I love a conspiracy theory, so I always appreciate a good conspiracy theory. The other ones that I'd mentioned to the Instagram graveyard are Instagram guides. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I loved guides.
I loved them.
I did.
Yes. I don't understand. Everybody I talked to loved guides, and yet somehow that disappeared. Also, Instagram, I think it was Instagram shops or Instagram shopping. They had much more of a focus on shopping. So I think like you're not out of bounds for bringing up the suggestion that this could mean the end of live. I'm going to just play devil's advocate and make another suggestion for why this could be happening. So yeah, they recently announced it where you can't go live unless you have over 1,000 followers. They've now also said you can't use the trial reels feature unless you have over 1,000 followers. So they seem to be attaching 1,000 followers as kind of like the level that you need to get to be able to use these things. I don't know if you guys have been around long enough to remember this, but back in the day, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, you needed 10,000 followers to put links in stories. So when stories came out, we could not put links in there unless you had 10,000 followers. So it was kind of this elite thing where you were trying to get to 10,000 followers so you could start using links in stories. And then one day they just decided, okay, everybody gets it, democratized it. We all have links in stories. Are they trying to create kind of like an elite status where you're more incentivized to try and grow on Instagram? You're going to try harder because once you hit that 1,000 follower threshold, all of a sudden it's going to unlock new things. I'm not sure that I feel strongly one way or another. I think both are compelling arguments. But is live disappearing, or is 1,000 followers the new benchmark that they want you to aim for? It could be either one. I could go either way.
I appreciate that different concept to the idea, the conspiracy theory that I'm coming up with. And I really hope, honestly, I hope that you're right and I'm wrong in this situation, because IG Lives is one of my favorite features on Instagram. And I think it's one of the best features that people do not use enough. And maybe that's one of the reasons why Instagram has pushed it to this limit. With this news, Megan, that I just announced, that you need 1,000 followers or more to now host an IG Live. How do you feel about that? Am I crazy, or maybe Leah's onto something in regards to is now the, is now the new elite level that you must reach, such as what she shared with trial reels.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I was thinking about, last week when I think heard about the live news. Heston, you had informed me about that, and I thought it was weird how 1,000, like they were putting a limit somewhere again. Because I remember when they got rid of the 10,000, it was great. Everyone was so excited because it was like we weren't chasing that 10,000 anymore. I mean, everyone still was for some reason. That's still stuck in your head of like that's the number, but. It made it more even for everybody and it made sense. It's kind of weird to bring back a limit, a number that you have to hit, especially since they are always encouraging people to grow. People do want to grow on Instagram. Like, I don't really see why they would be incentivizing it, except for maybe because like TikTok has some limits on things. So they're just trying to keep up. I don't really understand the whole process. Maybe it's something with the interface and, only being able to have so many people with certain features, or things are rolling out so fast. So maybe they can, update certain accounts certain ways at certain times. I have no idea why they're doing it. It seems weird to me. But it's interesting that they chose 1,000, and maybe it, like you said, Leah, maybe it is going back to like that status, and it's a more realistic status for people. It's more achievable, and it makes people feel more like they are doing really well, because 1,000 followers is incredible. Like that's absolutely incredible to be able to reach
in this day and age. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why they're doing it, but it is interesting for sure.
I think it's easier to get. It was easier to get to 10,000 followers in 2016, 2017 than I think it would be now.
Yeah,
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I saw one of the comments in the live chat. This comes from Ethan. First off, he said, "Remember when we had to swipe up for the link?
Yes.
that was when it was the 10,000 limit that we had to reach." But he also said, where did he put it? I don't see anyone go live anymore on IG. Very rarely, and I have to agree. Like they've been really dying out. I feel like they hit their peak during the pandemic. Everybody was at home and they tried this new feature. I've seen companies even create events on IG Live, and they became major things to do during that time because it was like an escape. But they definitely have been falling from grace, that peak moment when they were really high up on Instagram, to where they are now. I barely see one or two a week, where I used to see one or two a day. So maybe that's also part of it. They don't want to pay for the bandwidth of certain people putting up IG lives that only go out to 8 people. I don't know, but we'll see what happens in the future. We're gonna start moving over to we each also have one more new feature or update or rumor that we want to share with you guys. We want to remind you guys this is the Social Roundtable that you are watching with myself and Megan. We do this every week on Mondays at 12 p.m. and we are always joined by a very special guest. And today that special guest is Lia Haberman, joining us to discuss the topic. Don't miss your latest Instagram news, rumors, and more. If you are looking to join either one of our communities, or hopefully all of our communities, there are links in the description right now to our YouTube channels and our Instagram channels. You can join and check us out on either platform that you prefer, as well as liahaberman.com. I have your link in the description as well, Leah. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about what she does, join her incredible newsletter in case you missed it. Am I correct?
Yeah, in case you missed it. Which is,
there's
a lot of stuff. It's hard not to miss things. So yeah,
especially in this world of social media.
People caught up. Yeah.
So please, guys, if you want to go ahead and check it out, the links are in the description right now, and make sure you join and follow, and just send us a nice little DM if you followed us from this actual live session. We're going to go into a few more others that we want to share. I'm going to go to you next, Leah. If you have one more to share with the audience in regards to a brand new feature, update, whatever it is coming to Instagram or already here.
Yeah, both of yours were excellent, and they were actually on my list. So moving down the list, I did think it was interesting that Adam Mosseri on Friday afternoon, Adam's the head of Instagram, and he said that using the Edits app, the new Edits app, does help a little bit with reach. He was very specific. He said little bit, it helps a little bit. And it also will not be like it's not always going to help, like not thinking about that as like a growth driver forever. But right now,
Yes.
if you use edits, it's going to help a little with your reach. I may be one of the few people, this is embarrassing to admit, but I actually still use Instagram, like the Instagram Reels in the app,
Oh, really?
to edit videos. I think I just got used to it, and I'm just like, oh, now there's a new one. I have tested edits. I've done a couple of things in edits. But I also like, I know where all the buttons are. It's like your favorite store where you're just like, I know where all the like racks are and where everything is. So I just want to like keep going back to my favorite store. So at some point I'll probably switch to edits, but yeah, Adam Masseri is saying that can help. And I think at this point, I think so many people, like it's such a struggle to grow or get engagement on Instagram that I think every little bit helps. So if you are trying to get help with that reach, or, you know, reaching more audiences, I do think starting to use the edits app is probably a really good idea.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I did see him state that, and I don't know who shared this, but he said at first he once said about the same topic that it wouldn't help, and now he's kind of going back on that, and now he's saying it would help, even though if it's a little bit. I've noticed, and I think the way that he means that is when I use edits quite often. When I put up a video or reel via edits, every now and again, I don't have control of when this occurs, but every now and again, when I do, a notification goes out and says Social Varsity created a reel with edits. I think that is what he's referring to because when it shows up in a notification or the activity, more of my followers will see that. But it doesn't do it to all of my reels. I don't know what the scenario that I'm doing, if it's a certain time limit duration that the reel has to be. I don't know yet. But I do know that sometimes it shows up in the activity feed as a notification. I think he's saying that's going to help a little bit. And I don't, and he's also probably stating it won't last for long. They probably won't have that in the notifications forever, as you kind of alluded to. So I don't know if there's anything more to that. Megan, in regards to this news about edits being helpful, is that going to motivate you to use edits even more?
Well,
Or, you know, how should we move forward with this bit of news?
I mean, when edits first came out, I already had this like inkling. You know, I am a conspiracy theorist through and through, and I was like, I know that it's gonna have to help. Like, even if they don't admit it, it's gonna help. And my biggest reason was even if like technically it's not connected 100% of yes, this reel was made with edits, so it's gonna do better than the one that wasn't. Um, Thinking from the consumer standpoint, it has that small, as of right now, in the bottom left corner, like above the person's name, it says made with edits. And it's got like the color of edits icon.
Hmm.
And it's just something visually that might make somebody stop versus, you know, a reel that doesn't have it. So I just thought as a consumer behavior standpoint, that could capture more attention. So I did start using edits right away when it came out. And you know what? I shouldn't even say this, but 99% of my reels I edit with something else, might be one of their biggest competitors, and then put it into edits and do like one or two things there, maybe using like the Instagram font
Smart.
and then posting it there, which I don't know, maybe the metadata and the back end, they can tell I'm doing that and it's actually not helping. I have no idea, but that's what I do.
That's a cool technique, a really cool strategy. I like that.
Yeah, just like you said, Leah, I have my favorite, like, I like what I'm doing already. And yeah, it's hard to switch over.
Absolutely. People get really specific about the things that they like, and trying to get you to switch from one to another, that is tough. Which could also be why maybe if people weren't using edits enough, they were like, okay, look, if you come over, we're going to admit that, like, yeah, let's be blatant about the fact that if you use edits, like, we know it's not just Meta, it's like every platform, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, throughout time, every platform, when they launch something new, they always give it a little bit of extra juice. Like, there's always a benefit to using a new platform feature. And sometimes it lasts and sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I wonder if not enough, I don't want to say not enough people were using edits, but like maybe they're just trying to hurry that along a little bit to convince you to move over from whatever it is that you're using.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think they need to convince the public, more people to use it, because from my understanding, it was quite high in the apps chart for a few months. So we'll see where it goes. Maybe Leah might even start using it a little bit more, give it a good try. We'll see
Use my
where it
hack.
goes. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I don't know if that would work for Leah though, because she does it
Well,
in
you
Instagram
download it
already.
and then upload it. I know it's an extra
I
step.
also don't, I'm not an Instagram creator. Like I'm here professionally more as a marketer or for somebody who works with creators. So
Right.
if LinkedIn, like I'm on LinkedIn probably, I post a lot more video on LinkedIn. So if LinkedIn told me they had an editing app that I had to use, I'd be like, okay, like I'm into that. Like, yes, sir.
You hear,
Yes.
you hear that, LinkedIn? You got some work to do, LinkedIn, if you're listening. All right, well, let's go to our next one. Megan, do you have something else to follow up with that the people should be aware of in regards to Instagram updates and news or even potential rumors coming?
Yeah, okay. So one that I think actually is a pretty big deal, but maybe people aren't thinking that it would be yet, is the new update where in the Reels tab, they are testing out when if it plays once, it will just go to the next one automatically. So it kind of like scrolls for you. And you might not think much of this. You're like, cool, whatever, I was going to go to the next anyways. But as the person creating content, I know that a lot of people used to try to hack the way people consume, and they would do like a looping reel to get people
Mhm.
to watch it again to increase view time, or they do a shorter reel with lots of insight in the caption or a lot of text on screen and anything to kind of like, play the system there of getting more views, which you can feel however you want about that, right? If that's right or wrong. I think most of us can agree that no matter what, as long as you're giving value and you are actually delivering on your promise, then you do what you got to do and find unique ways to do it. But caring about your audience and actually being there for them is number one. So, but the whole update of it automatically scrolling to the next, I'm actually really excited about as a consumer. Maybe it's a little harder as a creator because I love a good caption. Like I will put, if I'm sharing 10 content ideas on screen, I'll share those on screen, but then I'll say, read the caption for more and I'll explain how to
Mhm.
use those 10 different ideas or maybe bonus ones or whatever. So I love captions, and that might stop people from doing that. But as a consumer, I've said this before about TikTok. I don't really consume on Instagram, but I consume on TikTok. And when I am, doing my makeup and I'm watching something passively, I'm like, this person should be so grateful. They just got like 30 views from me because I'm in the middle of my eyeliner. Like I can't stop to go to the next one, but I want to go to
Did
the
this
next one.
happen to me when I blow dry my hair or whatever? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Same.
so I'm like, I don't want to listen to the same thing over and over, but I'm in the middle of something and I can't. So I'm excited as a consumer for it to do that. And yeah, I don't know. Have you guys heard about this update or thought much of it?
You can speak on this one first, Leah, because from what you described in regards to doing your hair, this might be something that you might be affected by.
No, I mean, I had not heard that about Instagram, but I've had the same experience on TikTok where it's like you're washing the dishes, you're doing your hair, you're doing something, and that same TikTok just plays like over and over again. And yes, they get however many 30 views. And then I'm sure it's dictating what the algorithm is going to serve me next, thinking that I love this video, but it's really just because like I said, I was washing dishes or doing something at the same time and just didn't have a free thumb to swipe. So
Can't tell you how many times my phone gets like bubbles on it from me like doing dishes and then like swiping.
Do you remember that trend back in the day where they would show the phone by the dishwasher, and they would do this with their hands, and then all of a sudden the water would get on the phone, and it'll act like the water ordered something or it did something on the phone. You ever seen that trend?
I did not, but I know I relate to that.
Well, yes, because I relate to that too. It happened to me the other day where it was like it started to almost like comment to somebody else's post, and I was like, "What's going on? Why is the water interacting with my phone like that?"
Yes.
But no, I think this is an interesting update. I have to be honest; I'm not too fond of the idea of it makes us lazy scrollers for the consumer, and from what you described, Megan, as a creator, you want the people to stay on it as long as possible. So I see this actually negatively affecting um people's analytics, their metrics, because you won't have them staying on longer. And if they are, maybe accidentally rewatching it more than once, they might actually consume it more in regards to reading the caption or engaging with it. This doesn't really give them an opportunity to engage. It gives you the opportunity to be hands free, which means less engagement. Now
Mhm.
I'm less likely to hit the like button or the less likely to comment because I might have just put it on the kitchen sink and just continue scrolling that way. But it's great for Instagram because what happens is they scroll and show ads, and you don't have to continuously move it so the ad plays longer. So I see what they're doing here. They're being a little slick with that. So now ads will have more view time because usually we skip past those. We'll see what happens in the long run when more people have this feature, and will they actually be using it? Because from my understanding, you as a consumer have the option to put that option on or not. It's
Mhm.
not it's not just once they put it into effect, everybody has it and it'll stay on. You have the option of putting it on or off. So we'll see what happens. I will try it out, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be too fond of it, except for when I'm washing the dishes. All right, well, we're near the end. I have one more to go to, we might take a question or two from the live chat, but we also do have a little game that we're going to play. Megan is going to ask us a question or two, myself and Leah, and you guys watching, whether the replay or live, can join in as well. I'm going to quickly share my last one, which ends up happening being this new one that I've seen about called Quiz. It's actually related directly to Instagram Reels. Now, I know that they have, when you're creating a caption, they give you this little option to put in a poll. Now, besides a poll, you have the option of putting in a quiz. I have not tried this out yet, but I think it's something interesting to kind of get people to engage even deeper, where you can ask them a question. Where me and Megan have had conversations before where we were thinking of doing things like this before, but we realized like maybe people might not want to put out the wrong answer publicly in the comments. This is a great solution because I don't think your name is tagged to it. And then you find out what the answer is, but you've engaged with the content. So it's even beneficial for the creator. Something interesting I think might play out in very interesting ways how the creator utilizes it. I can see them doing like pop trivia questions in their reels. Something different, something unique to play around with. Nothing grandiose that's going to really create a bunch of brand new content and reach, but I think it's something interesting that we can pay attention to and post to our audience maybe every now and again. Have you guys tried it out or even seen it in a while?
I've seen the polls on in captions. I haven't seen the quiz yet. But I mean, look, it works in stories, right? If you do a poll
Hmm.
or a like answer this, um, it tends to get fairly good engagement. And I think that's a really good signal. So I think from the creator perspective, I think it's a good idea. I think anything you can do to try and increase engagement with the audience, like you absolutely want to try it. How much time Megan said something earlier about like, are people going to read captions? I don't know how much time people actually spend in the feed and or looking at captions, especially if it's below the jump and you have to click the more to see
Yeah.
the quiz. I don't know. I talk to a lot of I teach social marketing at UCLA, and I talk to a lot of students, and I'm always asking them because it's great to know like what does a 20-year-old think of social? Where do they spend their time? They do not spend any time in the feed. They go to stories and DMs.
Yeah.
So I love a quiz. I love engagement in the feed. I just don't know how popular it's going to be. But from a creator perspective, yes, use it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
How about you, Megan?
definitely. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm surprised that they really released it because I feel like from what I've heard, polls didn't do much for most people. And I mean that's just me kind of talking to people within our circle of similar niche and interests and people I follow and have relations with. But I haven't heard anyone be like, I use polls and it changed everything for me. Like they loved it. So I'm surprised they did it. Maybe it's like you said, Leah, everyone loves a good poll or quiz in stories. So it makes sense. I just think matters how that person consumes content, whether or not they're in the feed, and whether or not they are clicking more. And I think maybe Instagram's trying to find ways to get people back into the engagement game, because so many people don't comment anymore, or, double tap and move on. Or like myself, I actually struggled. I forget to like things. Like I have to go back. Oh yeah, I liked that. Like I want to support that creator. So they're just trying to find ways. I'm interested to see. I hope it works well for people.
We'll see. It's a brand new feature that is out. I've only seen one person use it, friend of the show, Monty Lanes. And I have not got a chance to see the results of how it worked. I might ask him to see how the results were and would he just do it again. But I think Leah is really right in regards to you have to dive so deep into the comments that it might not be worth it. And people might not even know that it's there. It's sometimes hidden. So we'll see how this plays out. But listen, guys, we shared with you guys 6 incredible brand new features, updates, even a couple rumors, conspiracy theories we kind of dived into. I hope that you guys take a lot of what we shared here today. Go ahead and give them a try. Not all of these features are available to everybody all at once. We know how Instagram does. They like to roll out things to different groups, kind of. I don't even know if there's any rhyme, reason, or order to how they do it. But hopefully, some of the things that we discussed here today, you guys will have an opportunity to try out yourself, see if your own audience enjoys it, if they like it and they want more. And if not, we go on to the next thing. And that's just all a part of social media. It's one big experiment. So we hope that you guys take what we discussed here today, put it into the real world, and step your gram up in the best way possible. We're going to move over to a quick little game that we're going to play. And hopefully you guys will join in as well in the live chat. Megan, you're going to lead us in this quick game. Leah, we're going to answer the questions that she has for us. For those that are watching, you could join in, whether you're watching a replay or live. If you're watching a replay, put it in the comments. If you're watching live, put it in the live chat. We would love to see what you guys are thinking in regards to these questions. Megan, you can take it away.
Awesome. All right. So quick game of would you rather. Name off a couple like things, and then simple would you rather A or B. And we'll go around the room here, and everyone in the comments. We always love to know your answers as well. So first one here, would you rather only be able to A, consume content on Instagram, or B, consume content on TikTok? Leah, what would you choose?
Oh my God, this is so hard. This is what you guys do every week. Like I
can't. She's never coming back. She's like, nope.
Reaction.
I mean, that is an impossible choice because I know people and I love people. And I think, okay, here, I'm going to separate it. I'm sorry. I'm going to wear 2 hats. Professionally, Instagram. Personally, TikTok.
That's a valid separation. I'll give you that. I've never actually said I'd give that to the person, when they say I have both, but that was valid. I love that.
There's logic behind that.
Yes. Heston, what would you say?
I think, my answer, and I kind of hinted at it earlier. I don't use TikTok often or very much at all. I used to. I experimented with it, but I haven't since then. I might get back into it because of this news with live on Instagram. I might go back to TikTok and try, the live there, because we know live does very well on TikTok.
They're pushing
right
it
now.
big
I'm going
time.
to say, oh yes, definitely, globally, very global. Yeah. But I'm going to go with Instagram. I would consume more on Instagram.
Gotcha. Yeah. I figured that was going to be your answer. I would have to surprisingly say I'd rather be able to only consume on TikTok. Like, I just don't enjoy consuming content on Instagram. Obviously, I enjoy creating there. It's my main, and I love content there. But consuming, I don't know. I guess it's like my brain turning off from work. Like, I'm enjoying the personal on,
I watch TikTok like I watch TV. Like it's like end of the night. I don't have to think. I'm not like saving things or thinking like, oh, I need to take notes on this. I'm just like, entertain me. Just, swipe. Yes.
Yes, same. Exactly. Entertainment. Awesome. Well, thank you for those. We have one more question here. Would you rather get canceled on Instagram or B, get canceled on all other platforms except for Instagram? Leah, you're up first again.
Oh gosh, this is so hard. So again, I think my biggest audience is on LinkedIn. So it would not do for me to get, and like a lot of my corporate clients come from LinkedIn, so I could not get canceled on, like, that would essentially kill my business. So I'm going to say get canceled on Instagram, but not the other platforms, mostly because I got to protect LinkedIn.
Yes, for sure. That's such an important part when it's that main driver. Heston, how about you?
That's a very interesting question. Before I answer that question, I do want to read off one of the comments for our last question. This is Ethan. He says he uses both. This is regards to what we last spoke about consuming on Instagram or TikTok. Trends are available on TikTok, which that was a good point. Trends end up on TikTok quicker than Instagram. So he said for that reason, TikTok, but he uses Instagram to connect with friends. So I guess he'll be seeing his friends' content more likely on Instagram. So interesting perspective for that question. For myself, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I would rather get canceled on Instagram than the others. And I think because kind of Leah kind of hinted like the majority of her audience is on LinkedIn. My one biggest audience is Instagram, but Threads and YouTube, I have such a love for that. And if I add those together, it might just be above my Instagram audience. So I can't do it there. I'm gonna have to do it on Instagram. I don't want to be canceled on either one.
Yeah.
I would
Let's
rather
just
not.
put that out there.
Clarification. Not at
Don't
all.
do it. Yeah, so that would be my answer.
Yeah, awesome. I know this is a hard one. I don't even know why I put this as a question because I don't know if I can answer it. But I think I would say I'd rather be canceled on Instagram because if you can, I've grown a huge community there. It's my favorite place to create. Like, I absolutely love creating carousels and reels. I love stories, but I think having the ability to have the versatility on all the other platforms could kind of make up for it. And who knows, maybe that would then open up my eyes to different opportunities and actually make me go all in on something else and challenge me in interesting ways. So even though all of my business really is Instagram, I think that I would look at it as a great opportunity to challenge myself to really start from the ground up somewhere else.
But we still love you, Instagram.
Yes, we do. Please don't.
Yes, we do.
If you're watching.
Don't get rid of us.
Yeah.
Don't get rid of us.
We appreciate you.
Awesome. Awesome questions,
You and all
Megan.
of your glitches.
Awesome questions. Thank you guys for playing with us. We can't wait to see what you guys are. For those that are watching the replay, I want to see what you guys put in the comments. We'd love to see what you guys are thinking, particularly that last question. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We're about to end our live here today on the episode of the Social Roundtable. I do want to give a moment to Leah to share once again where you can find her. If there's anything particular that you would like to plug in as well for the audience to be aware of that they can find on your website, which is in the link in the description, please go ahead and share.
Appreciate that. Yeah, pretty much just my newsletter, ICYMI, in case you missed it. It's liahaberman.substack.com. And it essentially catches you up every Friday morning with all of the platform updates from Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, sometimes Roblox, Reddit, whatever, anywhere you can be that there is an audience, you can connect with your audience. Yeah, pretty much the newsletter, Friday mornings. Come check it out.
Awesome. I might have a few questions for you about Substack. I'm hearing a lot of great things about that platform as well. There might be something we might have to discuss here in the Social Roundtable too, Megan. Lots of good things going on there.
I'll come back for that. Yeah.
Awesome. Would love to have you return back. You guys heard it here first. We got video evidence.
I'll have easier questions.
Megan, how about you? Where can the people find you? Is there anything else that you would like to share as well before we sign off?
Well, you can find me on the platform I just said I would get canceled on, Instagram, for now. And I mean, all other platforms, Megan Harriman or Social Media with Meg. You can find me, come hang out, say hello, and connect. I'm always there sharing tips and different strategies to help you create better content to be able to connect with your community and grow and hit your goals. So very excited for all the things to come in this last big run of 2025. Lots of things coming.
Yes, we're more than halfway through the year. And we got a lot of great episodes lined up for you guys as well. Like I said, this is the Social Roundtable. So you can join us every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a brand new guest. And we're so thankful to have our guest here today. Please, once again, check out all of the links in the description. Follow us at our respective profiles and communities. And we hope to see you in the future. I am Heston of Social Varsity. As I like to say, I am the king of lives. I'm not going to say IG Live anymore. I'm just the king of lives. I'm trying to hold on to that title. But if you're interested in DM automation and Manychat and chatbots, I'm your guy. If you're interested to learn more, please check out my page. Once again, the link is in the bottom. And if you have not done it yet, please like and subscribe as the image on the screen says. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you once again for joining us, Leah. And to everybody else, take care and have a great week. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Don't miss your latest Instagram news, rumors, and more. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How are we looking over there?